will be doing.
But the Conservatives promised to cut net migration to 100,000 a year 7 years ago. 7 years ago. You're still nowhere near that figure. Indeed, non-EU migration, people coming from beyond the EU, that migration alone is well over 100,000 a year. You must understand why people are sceptical about anything you say on immigration.
Well, if you look at what's happened to those migration figures, those net migration figures, over the last 7 years, they went up, they've come down, they've gone up again, and they've now started to come down. They are higher than we want them to be.
Almost
and
three times higher.
You're absolutely right about them being higher than we want them to be. But that's why what I've just said is so important, that in immigration, you can't just set one set of rules and think that's the answer and you go away and forget about it. Actually, you have constantly to be looking at this, constantly working at it, constantly saying, have we got the rules right?
But you cannot, I would suggest, reduce net migration to 100,000 without major cuts in both EU and non-EU migration. Isn't that right?
We need to continue to look across the board, as well as introducing rules for people from the European Union. We also need to continue to looking across the board. But there's something else we need to do as a country, of course, which is to make sure that people here in the UK have the skills they need to take the jobs here, so that businesses don't feel they have to reach out overseas to bring people in all the time.
Just one final thing on the immigration, though. The British economy has done better than most forecasters said at the time of the referendum, and it continues to do pretty well this year. What happens if we continue to do well and you need more than 100,000 migrants a year? Would you let that in? Would you let them in?
One of the things that I think, as I've just said, is crucial for us as we look to our economy for the future is for us to make sure that people here in the UK are getting the training, the education, the skills they need to be able to take on the jobs for that growing economy in the future. That's why, as a government, we are putting more money into technical education, for example, ensuring that young people have the opportunity to get the skills they need. I want to see a high-paid, high-skilled economy in the future, but we need to ensure that young people today are going to be able to take those jobs tomorrow.
The EU's talked of a one-off multi-billion-pound